Hello, I'm Anita Lopez. Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers, where we bring you news and information from people making a difference. Joining me today is Michelle Sie Whitten. She is with the Rocky Mountain Down Syndrome Educational Fund. Thank you for joining me, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me about your fund. I understand it's fairly new, just recently established, and you really have two purposes.
That's correct. It was established in March of 2006. Really, the catalyst was my own child, Sophia, who has Down syndrome, and looking out at the lack of services and information for families associated with Down syndrome. Our family foundation decided to start this fund to help people in Colorado and eventually people around the world access better information about Down syndrome. What
were some of the things that you found that you didn't have, answers or information to, that you are saying, okay, I'm going to make a difference here?
Well, there wasn't a lot of information even at the doctor level. So when you go in and you get your amnio or you go to your OB/GYN, there's a real lack of information. So that was my first encounter with it. But in addition, there's just a lack of resources. Scientific research is woefully underfunded, educational programs. We have some great local organizations like the Mile High Down Syndrome Association, Adams Camp, that fill a certain niche, but overall we've got huge gaps in our understanding of people with Down syndrome, how they learn, their medical needs, and the list goes on.
How prevalent is the occurrence of having a Down syndrome child?
It's the most frequent chromosomal disorder that there is. It's 1 in 733 live births. In Colorado, there are approximately 5,000 people with Down syndrome.
And I understand that as a woman ages, or perhaps after the age of 40, the likelihood of having a child with Down syndrome really skyrockets.
It does, but the interesting fact is that because there are so many more women in their 20s and 30s having children, actually the number of people born with Down syndrome are more to parents in their 20s, to women in their 20s.
Wow, just because there's more
people having babies in their 20s.
What have you learned that you would like to share? So if somebody here is pregnant now or just recently had a child with Down syndrome, what was one of the, maybe two things that you said, oh my gosh, if I would have known this way back then, it would have just really helped so much?
Right. Early intervention is key to the trajectory of where our kids can end up. So the sooner you start on the therapies, etc., contacting your community center boards. And again, unfortunately, you don't get this information at the hospitals and at the doctors like you probably should. The other thing is that our kids are different. That doesn't mean they're better or worse. They just have a different way of learning, whether it's reading, whether it's walking, whether it's riding a bike. So to access experts is really important because no two developmental disabilities are the same.
And I'm sure it's a learning experience for you as well, but it's opened a whole new world to you as a parent.
Absolutely, and it's fabulous in a way. I think it does make you better people to have a child with a special need. Having said that, when you look at the children with Down syndrome today whose IQs are 20 points higher than they were 15 years ago, who are mainstreamed, who are living till they're in their 60s rather than in their 20s, just from the 1980s, and you see that they're depressed, that they want to do more, that they're not particularly capable in some instances of doing more, that's when you start thinking, wow, maybe scientific research would be a great gateway.
Now you have a fundraiser coming this September that would help put money into this fund to go to that research. Tell me about it real quickly.
That's right. We have two events actually. One is August 3rd, and it's a family fun day, Planting Seeds of Change at Botanic Gardens.
Okay.
And then we have a fashion show September 27th at Rotors of the Rockies, and that's exciting because we're going to have adults with developmental disabilities and kids with Down syndrome as the models with the Colorado Crush and the Colorado Crush cheerleaders, and that's with Arc Thrift.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for dropping by and shedding the light today.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Michelle. I'm Anita Lopez, and you have been watching Comcast Newsmakers.